Sawit Berhad, an established palm oil plantation company based in Tawau, Sabah. The company closed its account on 31st December annually. The following scenarios occur in the basis year 2021. On 18 March 2021, Ali, a human resources officer, died due to car accident. The company was informed by this news on the 20 March. In order to fill up the position, a newly employed staff, Borhan, was appointed on the 1st May. Kalista from Research and Development Department was sent by the company to pursue her study in Indonesia for 3 years. The study was fully sponsored by the company. She departed to Indonesia on the 1st July. Responsibilities of Rimba Sawit Berhad as employer in relation to tax in Malaysia. Tax implications if Rimba Sawit Berhad failed to provide Form EA to its employees. Rimba Sawit Berhad's responsibility towards Ali, Borhan, and Kalista in relation to their respective scenarios.
Responsibilities of Rimba Sawit Berhad as an employer in relation to tax in Malaysia. First, Rimba Sawit Berhad need to register an employer's number in Form E. Second, Rimba Sawit Berhad also need to make monthly tax deduction. Monthly tax deduction is a mechanism where the employer deducts the employee's salary on a monthly basis for the purpose of paying the employee's income tax. Rimba Sawit Berhad may only use the e-PCB, e-Data PCB, or ECP39 applications provided through the ERBM's official portal for submission of the statement of MTD or employees' MTD data. Third, Rimba Sawit Berhad need to submit written form of employer Form E together with the CP80 on or before 31 March of the following year.
Fourth is Rimba Sawit Berhad need to prepare and render to an employee a statement of remuneration Form EA in respect of the employee on or before the last day of February of the following year. The fifth responsibility of Rimba Sawit Berhad is need to prepare and provide a copy of statement of monetary and non-monetary incentive payment to each agent, dealer or distributor from CP58 on or before 31st March of the following year. The sixth responsibility is keep and retain records for 7 years and make it readily accessible to the IRBM if needed. The seventh responsibility is the Rimba Sawit Berhad need to prepare and submit the following form if there are any relevant for the business, which is the first form is the CP22, the second form is CP22A, the third form is CP22B, and the last form is CP21. Lastly, responsibility of Rimba Sawit Berhad is they need to withhold any money payable to the employee for the 90 days or until tax clearance letter is received if the case of cessation of employment, cessation by reason of death, or leave Malaysia for more than 3 months with no intention of returning.
These are tax implications that are explained about offence and penalties if Rimba Sawit Berhad fail to provide Form EA to its employee. The first offence is failure to comply with an order made under Section 120, subsection 1B. Section 83, subsection 1 requiring an employer to submit a return of his employees. Meanwhile, Section 83(1)A requiring an employer to provide EA return to employees. The second offence is failure to give notice by the employer under Section 120, subsection 1C of an employee who commences work for the employer, an employee who is ceasing work for the employer, and an employee who is about to leave Malaysia for more than 3 months. If the employer fails to do so, there will be penalties with prosecution. Whether the employer will be fined between 200 ringgit to 2,000 ringgit or 6 months imprisonment or both.
Now, moving to the scenario happened in 2021 by Rimba Sawit Berhad. Ali, the employee of Rimba Sawit Berhad, who is a human resource officer of the company. On 18 March 2021, Ali died to a car accident and the company was informed by this news on 20 March 2021. What is the responsibility of the company regarding to the scenario of Ali? Rimba Sawit Berhad is required to notify the Inland Revenue Board using Form CP22A, which not more than 30 days after being informed of the death of the employee, whom is Ali. However, employer is not required to furnish such form where the income of an employee has been subject to monthly tax deduction or where the employee's monthly income is below the minimum amount subject to the MTD. It is provided that the employee will continue working or not retiring from any employment in Malaysia. The employer is required to withhold any monies payable to an employee who has ceased or is about to cease to be employed. In addition, the employer shall not pay any such money except with the permission of the Inland Revenue Board Malaysia or for the benefit of the employee until 90 days after the receipt by the IRBM of the form.
For our next scenario, in order to fill up Ali's position, a newly employed staff, Borhan, was appointed to Rimba Sawit Berhad on 1 May 2021. What is responsibilities of Rimba Sawit Berhad towards Borhan that related in this scenario? Rimba Sawit Berhad is responsible to report Borhan as new employee who is likely to be chargeable to tax within 30 days from the date of commencement of employment using Form CP22, which is notification form by employer for new employee. Form CP22 can be submitted to the Inland Revenue Board Malaysia (IRBM) that handles the employer tax file or to the nearest IRBM office. The completed Form CP22 must contain particulars of Rimba Sawit Berhad, Borhan, money remuneration, and duly signed declaration.
For Kalista scenario, Kalista is an employee of Rimba Sawit Berhad from Research and Development Department. She was sent by Rimba Sawit Berhad to pursue her study in Indonesia for 3 years. Her study was fully sponsored by the company. She departed to Indonesia on 1 July 2021. Kalista is considered as employee leaving Malaysia. So, what Rimba Sawit Berhad responsibility on Kalista leave? Notification of Form CP21 must be submitted to IRB by Rimba Sawit Berhad if an employee is about to leave or intend to leave Malaysia for a period exceeding 3 months. The submission Form CP21 need to make within 1 month before the date Kalista departure, which is on 1 July 2021. However, the requirement to give written notice may be waived if the employee is required to leave Malaysia at frequent intervals in the course of their employment. Move to the date of form submission, Rimba Sawit Berhad need to submit Form CP22 for Borhan, Form CP22A for Ali, and Form CP21 for Calista within the time given by IRB to avoid from penalty. The employer need to submit Form CP22 within 30 days after commencement of employment. For Form CP22A, the employer need to submit the form not less than 30 days before cessation of employment and not more than 30 days after being informed of dates. And Form CP21, the employer need to submit the form within 30 days before Calista's expected date of departure.